Most people think distraction is just a bad habit, something you fix with more discipline or better routines. But what if distraction isn't just behavioral? What if it's structural? What if, without realizing it, the way your brain processes attention is changing? Think about how you move through the day. You reach for your phone without thinking. You switch between apps, messages, videos, text messages, often without finishing what you originally started. Even when you try to focus, there's a subtle restlessness, a background pull towards something quicker, something easier, something more stimulating. And over time, this doesn't just stay at the level of behavior, it begins to influence what your brain expects the world to feel like. In neuroscience, there's a concept called neuroplasticity. It describes the brain's ability to reorganize itself based on repeated experiences. The more frequently you perform a behavior, the more your brain strengthens the pathways associated with it. This is how habits form. But it's also how attention evolves. Because attention is not fixed, it adapts. And when your environment consistently rewards speed and novelty, your brain begins to optimize for those conditions. Research on media multitasking gives insight into this. Studies have found that individuals who frequently switch between multiple streams of digital input tend to have more difficulty filtering irrelevant information. Their attention becomes more fragmented, more reactive, less stable. In other words, the brain becomes better at scanning, but worse at staying. There's also a chemical layer to this process. Like every time you scroll, click, or shift your attention, your brain receives a small dopamine signal. Not intense, but it's frequent, and it's actually the frequency that matters, because it trains expectation. Over time, your brain begins to anticipate constant stimulation. So when that stimulation isn't there, the experience of normal life changes. This is why tasks that require sustained attention begin to feel heavier. And it's not because those tasks have become more difficult, it's because the brain became less tolerant of low stimulation. The threshold for what feels engaging quietly moved. And once that threshold shifts, everything below it feels diminished. This is where boredom becomes important, not as something to escape, but as something that restores balance. Boredom creates space. Space for thought, space for attention to stabilize, space for your brain to recalibrate. But if that space is constantly filled, the brain never resets. And without that reset, sensitivity continues to decline. So the issue isn't simply that you or me can't focus, is that your brain has adapted to a different environment, a different playing field, one that rewards interruption, novelty, constant input. And adaptation is powerful, because once the brain adjusts, it begins to treat that state as normal. But the same system that allows this change also allows it to reverse, because neuroplasticity, as discussed before, it works in both ways. If repetition changes your attention, then changing what you repeat reshapes it again. This is what recalibration is, not forcing discipline, but restoring sensitivity. Your brain didn't suddenly lose its ability to focus. It learned a different way to function. And what it learned can be unlearned.